Hello everyone, this is Donnie, aka Elevated with Dota Alchemy, and thank you for joining us today for another video. Thank you so much for all of the interest and questions on the video that I published yesterday, which was 3 tips for calibrating successfully in Season 2 of Dota's new ranked system. And it was so popular that I thought I would make a second part to this video. So here are 3 more tips that you can use to calibrate higher, more successfully, and hopefully reach a higher MMR and rank than you did last season. Tip number 1, pick well-rounded heroes. What is a well-rounded hero? Well, in Dota 2, there's a lot of sort of jobs that are required to have happen to win the game. For example, you need heroes to push creep waves, you need heroes to hit towers, you need heroes to kill other heroes. Sometimes you need heroes to save heroes, and other times you need heroes to secure vision. So having a hero on your team that does multiple of these jobs makes a game much easier. This is especially true if you have a bunch of other heroes on your team or players who are not doing their jobs very well. So picking a hero like Undying and then having a team that refuses to push towers or clear creep waves can be a really frustrating experience because Undying has almost no ability to push waves. He just doesn't have any wave clear, and he can't hit towers by himself. And frankly, he can't solo kill heroes by himself either, so it's really hard for Undying to put pressure on the other team by himself. And because the calibration system rewards wins and losses and nothing else, according to a Valve employee who posted on Reddit, you need to be able and prepared to do as many jobs as possible to allow your team to win. So a hero like Lina, for example, if the carry on the team is not doing their job and carrying the game, the Lina can push waves to create pressure, can hit towers to take objectives, can solo kill heroes to make space on the map. And all of these things can contribute towards winning the game. Let's say there's an Underlord on Lina's team, and Underlord is a very good hero for defending towers and pushing creep waves. Now, if this Underlord is just sitting in the jungle all game and not doing his job of defending towers and pushing creep waves, then the Lina can just also do that job as well. Tip number 2, try to include at least some team early game items in your build, if possible. For example, try to build an item like a Drums or a Vlad's or a Pipe or a Crimson Guard or an Urn of Shadows or a Mechanism or even a Ring of Aquila. And the reason for having these items in your build is 1, it's not greedy. We've talked about how being greedy with your build is not a good idea usually. But more importantly than that, having these team items encourages your team to play together and actually take objectives after taking fights. Not only will these items help you in fights, but how many times have you played a game where you win a fight, but you barely win that fight? And your entire team, instead of taking the tower that's free, because you killed their entire team, goes back to Fountain to heal because they're at 5 or 10% HP. Or they go to the jungle and try to farm safely in the jungle because they don't want to show on map at 5 or 10% HP. If you had an Urn on your team, even if you're like a Spectre, buy an Urn, because if you get kills and you help your team win the fight, and your team's trying to like go back to base because they're scared of dying, just pop some Urn charges on them and they will be much more likely to push with you and you say, hey guys, let's take this tower, we just won this fight. Same thing goes for items that provide regen for your team. Helm of the Dominator is a great example, or a Mechanism to heal your entire team as you're trying to push forward. Pushing your advantage that you get out of fighting is how you win the game of Dota. And no matter how many good fights you win, if you never push objectives afterwards because your team is always too low and scared to push, you're never going to win this game. Number 3, counter the most annoying hero on the other team by yourself, if possible. Go on Dota Buff, look at the win rate differences and matchups of heroes between each other. Or if you've played a lot of Dota and you know a lot of the matchups, then try and use that knowledge to win the draft for yourself. And the reason that I say do this yourself is because if you can make yourself have a good game because the most annoying hero, or the hero that would annoy you personally the most, is not annoying, then you're going to play a lot better and you're going to be able to contribute more to your team. And if you cannot wait and counter them through draft, then build items that counter them and try to specifically target doing that in the game. If I was to play, let's say, if I was playing Bloodseeker and I was playing against a team that had a Storm Spirit and the Slark on the team. Now, a lot of people say, hey, Slark is really, really annoying, right? But if I'm playing Bloodseeker, generally speaking, Bloodseeker counters Slark pretty hard. So I don't really need to itemize to counter Slark at this point. However, Storm Spirit is really, really, really annoying for Bloodseeker to play against. And so generally what I would do is I would just focus all of my items to countering that Storm Spirit. I would buy, you know, an early BKB so Storm can't just kill me. I would buy a Hex so I could catch the Storm Spirit. And I would just allow my innate nature of countering Slark to handle the Slark. And in that way, you can make the game easy for yourself. And when the game is easy for yourself, it's much easier to play with your team and play with their mistakes that they might be making. And usually if a hero is annoying to you, it's probably also annoying to your team as well. So you're doing kind of like a double service to yourself and your team towards winning this game. And even if you're forced into picking early, let's say you're playing support and you pick first, this is where picking a well-rounded hero, tip number 1, is really good, because if you pick a well-rounded hero first, then generally you probably won't get super hard countered, and you'll still be able to have impact even if you do get countered. You got to change your playstyle up a little bit. You might have to stick with your team, but your items should be to help you survive and then maybe catch people. So do whatever it takes to itemize to counter the most annoying hero, or the hero that will be able to kill you the easiest. That's another good way to put it. Itemize to counter the hero that will be able to kill you the easiest or give you the most problems. And you'll find that regardless of where you draft, you'll usually have a much easier time in this game. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep the questions coming. I love answering them. Good luck, have fun, go win some MMR, and we will see you next time.